Kleppers Corner, time-traveling news analyst. History repeats itself, but somehow dumber. Welcome to Kleppers Corner, where tonight we hop aboard the SS Poor Life Choices and sail across history's weirdest moments. This is time-traveling news analyst. Because why suffer through today's chaos when you can suffer through all of history's chaos at the same time? Grab your flux capacitor, grab your emotional support vulture, and let's go. First stop, 1518, Strasbourg, France, Dancing with the Deadly Stars. Our first story, 1518, Strasbourg, where a woman named Frau Trophäa started dancing uncontrollably in the streets. And like every bad flash mob since the dawn of humanity, people joined her and kept dancing for days until they collapsed from exhaustion, heat stroke, and in some cases, literal death. Locals tried to fix it by hiring musicians to keep the party going, because nothing solves mass medical collapse like more cowbell. Was it mass hysteria? Was it toxic bread? Or was it just humanity inventing the world's worst silent disco? We may never know. Next, 897 AD, Rome. Weekend at Dead Popes. You think political trials today are petty. In 897, Pope Stephen VI literally dug up his dead predecessor, Pope Formosus, dressed him in papal robes, sat him on a throne, and put his corpse on trial. A deacon had to answer for the corpse, meaning that somewhere a young priest's career started with, "Please state your name for the record, and also try not to gag." The verdict, guilty. The punishment, thrown into the Tiber River like a medieval version of canceling someone on Twitter. The public hated it so much they overthrew the Pope, but probably while muttering, "This is why we can't have nice churches." Third stop, 1932, Australia. The Emu Empire strikes back. Welcome to the Great Emu War, where Australia thought they could defeat 20,000 emus with machine guns. They failed hard. The emus zigzagged, scattered, ducked, and dodged bullets like they were in the Matrix. Honestly, the government could have just surrendered immediately and handed the emus parliament. Probably would have gotten better health care. Fourth stop, 1510, France. Rat Ekel justice. In 1510, France, rats were put on trial for destroying crops, with a defense lawyer who argued the rats couldn't attend court because cats were lurking outside. Honestly, the rats had a better legal defense than half the January 6th rioters. Barthélemy de Chasseneux, the rat lawyer, ended up using this case to launch a wildly successful career. So, yes, in medieval France, you could get famous for being that one guy who represented rodents in court. Fifth stop, 1764, France, Beauty and the Beast and the Bloodbath, Gévaudan, France. A creature, giant, hairy, and very bitey, killed over 100 people. Locals thought it was a werewolf or a demon or an extremely pissed-off golden retriever. Professional hunters failed. King Louis sent these special ops. Even Liam Neeson would have needed 3 sequels to catch this thing. Finally, a guy named Jean Chastel shot a suspiciously large wolf and declared victory. Was it a real wolf, a mutant hybrid, or just France inventing Florida Man 2 centuries early? You decide. Sixth stop, 1807, France. Napoleon versus Bunny-Geddon, Napoleon Bonaparte, conqueror of Europe, bested by a rabbit stampede. His staff accidentally released thousands of tame, hungry rabbits. Instead of fleeing in terror, the rabbits rushed the emperor, probably thinking he was a giant carrot in a funny hat. Napoleon had to run back to his carriage. The bunnies won. He lost. It remains the most adorable defeat in military history. Seventh stop, 1814, London, Beer Nami of Death. In London, 135,000 gallons of fermenting beer exploded from a brewery vat, triggering a 15-foot tidal wave that flattened buildings and drowned people, all in the name of bad plumbing and alcohol-fueled optimism. The brewery never really paid for the damages. because apparently in 1814, the legal system treated beer like an act of God. You want historical proof that corporate accountability was a joke? There it is. Floating down the street with a foam head, 8th stop, 1908, Siberia. Boom goes the Tundra, the Tunguska event. Something exploded in the Siberian sky, flattened 80 million trees, shook cities hundreds of miles away, and no one really knows why. Scientists blame an asteroid airburst. Conspiracy theorists blame aliens. Flat earthers probably blame roundness. We may never know. 9th stop, 1945 and 1974, Philippines. Never Gonna Give You Up. Jungle remix. Japanese soldier Haru Onoda fought World War II for 29 years after it ended, living in the jungle, engaging in shootouts, and ignoring every leaflet telling him the war was over. It took his actual commanding officer flying in personally to convince him to put the gun down. Proof that once you start ignoring reality, it can take an entire army and several airline miles to fix it. 10th stop, 1876, Kentucky. It's raining meat, hallelujah. Kentucky, 1876. Chunks of raw meat fell from a clear blue sky. Local residents scooped it up and ate it. Scientists eventually decided it was probably vultures barfing midair, which weirdly still makes it one of the least disturbing things ever to happen in Kentucky politics. Honorable mentions the man in the iron mask, Netflix's worst masked singer reveal. The snake sack proposal, British Parliament trying out literal Hogwarts punishments. The cheese rolling incident, proof the British will die for dairy without hesitation. So if you think today's news feels bizarre, just remember it's only the latest chapter in a long history of humanity making choices that could best be described as, and I quote, why not? What's the worst that could happen? And if history repeats itself, we're just lucky the rabbits haven't started organizing again.